Welcome back everyone to my second Let's Play of Final Fantasy I for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Last episode, Albert, Beez, Chip, and Nichols ended their adventure in Melmond. It's a town that has a lot of problems, and that's an understatement. First of all, they were attacked by an evil vampire who destroyed the clinic so that any would-be heroes who may swing by can't be revived if they get knocked out. And he's destroying the earth around the town. If you look around the town, there's a bunch of swamps around there. Yeah, so those people, they're really hurting. And they asked our heroes to help them out by, going to the lair of the vampire to the southwest of town and purging that evil. Now, of course, being heroes, Albert, Beez, Chip, and Nichols obviously said yes, but before they do that, they need to prepare for that journey because the Earth Cave where the vampire's at, it's pretty tough. It has a lot of tough enemies, it's really long, so I'm going to head off here to Crescent Lake. We were told about Crescent Lake back in Corneria. It is the town where Lucan the Prophet went to after he released his prophecy about the Light Warriors coming. So by heading to this town, we're able to get a bunch of new equipment, basically all the silver armor for all our characters. We'll also be able to stock up on our heal potions because Melmond, in addition to not having a clinic, also doesn't have an item store. So we're going to get silver equipment for all our fighters, and we're also going to buy 2 bucklers. It's the first shield that our thieves can actually use. So our thieves will now have full armor on all their slots. So we're just going to sell all the fighters their non-silver gear, and then we'll end up filling the rest of their inventory then with all the silver stuff. So that'll give us a good defensive boost for when we want to head into the Earth Cave. So the Earth Cave, in addition to being home of the vampire, is also going to be where we'll find our first fiend, the Fiend of Earth. That's why it's called the Earth Cave. So but first, before we manage to take out the Earth Fiend, we're going to have to go after that vampire. Now, we're not going to actually go after the vampire in this episode because the Earth Cave is pretty deep, so in order to basically boost our chance of survival, we're going to be going in and out of the Earth Cave, doing a little bit of treasure runs, getting some treasure, and then saving our game outside before we make the push toward the vampire in the next episode. But first, let's talk with all these people. So that guy, he's moving around, but he's sleeping. It's like he's sleepwalking, I guess. So you got a launch of good weapons, but no need to buy any of the weapons here. We already got the silver swords, so all the other stuff we don't need. Light Warriors, you can do it. We also won't need any magic because we can't use magic. And even once we class change, the spell levels for these spells, they're level 6 spells, none of our characters will be able to use. Ninjas can only use up to level 4 black magic, and knights level up to level 3 white magic. So the sage here are going to tell us all about different things. And the sages, I'll talk with them again when I come back here, because we'll be coming back, like I said, after we clear the Earth Cave. We're going to be coming here to talk with the sages. So one of the sages will actually say, like, hey, come back and visit us often. So the sages' dialogue changes 3 times during the game. So most of them stay the same, but some of the sages, their dialogue will change. So, and the one in the lower right here, the last one we're going to talk with, he is Lucan. And yep, now all legends and prophecies will be fulfilled. So, well, maybe we should start working to fulfill those prophecies. So we're going to equip all our stuff here, and then we're going to head back toward Melmond. So the world wraps around. In order to get back to Melmond, we can just head to the east. It was easier to get to Crescent Lake by heading to the west. It's like I said, it's a shorter trip rather than going south and then east, which is the way that you would think you would want to go, like looking at the map that the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide gives. But like I said, you got to remember that the world kind of wraps around. So the world, it's not really a globe; it's more like a donut shape if you how it stretches out, because there's no universal north, universal south. But we'll just sell some cheap equipment there, so we have some room, because there's going to be a few armor pickups that we're going to pick up in the Earth Cave, so we'll get rid of the cheap gloves there on the thieves. They only give one evade and one defensive power, so they're not all that important. So I'm going to buy a few cabins here, and then I'm going to stock up on heal potions and just cut out all that buying. So see, if you can tell you can't have any more because the shop owner will say, like, hey, you can't carry anymore. Yeah, you can't have more than one stack of items, so you can only have 99 heal potions. You can't have like 2 stacks of 99 for 198. Game limits you in what you can carry, so especially with your armor, which is why I got rid of those gloves on the thieves, because they're basically the worst piece of armor our characters have, and we want to be able to grab some extra armor just to sell. So we have another new enemy here. We ran into that troll earlier. Now we have the bull there on the bottom. Trolls are weak to fire. They're one of the monsters in the Peninsula of Power. It's a section to the east of Provoca, the second town. The way that the overworld, the monster layout is, it's kind of divided into grids. Well, there's this one little peninsula, 4 squares to the east of Provoca, that overlaps with the monster area for a much later town. So the enemies are much stronger than normal in those 4 squares. But if you have black magic, fire 2, and white magic, harm 2, you can take out some of the enemies pretty easily. Like the trolls, they're weak to fire, and then there's zombie bulls, which are weak to fire and harm 2. So you can get a lot of gold, a lot of experience there. It definitely makes level grinding before the Marsh Cave much quicker. So I did that with my first party, Marty, Milo, Wibbly, and Fibs, because we had access to those spells. Marty had fire 2, Fibs had harm 2, and Milo had fire 2. So we were able to get a lot of golden experience and just go through that level grinding much quicker. So another new enemy here, the hyena there. So I'm gonna run into quite a bit of ogres in the Earth Cave. We've also run into the first of the elementals. So each of the elemental dungeons will have an element associated with it. So you'll have an earth elemental in the Earth Cave, in Goga Volcano, which is where the fire fiend is. You'll get fire elementals, and then in the Undersea Shrine, where the water elemental is, there are water elements, and then the floating castle, you'll get air elements. So, and they tend to be a little bit tougher than the normal monsters you encounter. It's almost like mini bosses in a sense. Oftentimes they are on trap tiles, and we'll see that because, like I said, we're going to make a quick dive into the Earth Cave to clear out the first floor of all the treasure on it. And you'll notice that a lot of the treasure chests there are guarded by earth elementals. And this cave is guarded by this titan who will not let nobody pass. We were told about a titan back in Melmond. Apparently he likes to eat gems, and rubies are his favorite. So maybe if we find a ruby, we can give it to him and let him pass. So apparently there's another person named Sarda who doesn't fear the evil in the Earth Cave. But he lives to the southwest of town, so maybe beyond this tunnel? Well, we'll find out eventually. But until then, let's take out that green ogre there. I like how the ogres, they color coordinate their clubs with their skin color there. So that's just, I guess, a limitation on the amount of colors that the Nintendo can display at the same time, so... Alright. Well, let's head over to the Earth Cave, which is pretty much south of Melmond. You can see the rot of the earth there, all those swamps. So the swamps are really annoying because there's an enemy image that appears in them. They have a really high ambush rate, which means they have I think a 90% chance that the enemy will strike first if you run into them. So we'll use a cabin here to heal up a little bit, save our game. That way, if things go bad, we can just restart here. But spoiler, luckily things don't go bad. Although they can go bad because, like I said, we're going to run into a bunch of earth elements, and they hit really, really hard. So even with all this new armor that our fighters and thieves have, they're going to take a lot of damage. So yeah, to the right of this treasure chest is an earth elemental. Look at that attack, 66 attack power. So, ouch. Whatchamacallit? I'll just point out where all the trap tiles are by springing them. But yeah, see, sometimes treasure chests you can avoid a trap tile. If you get this treasure chest from the south, you won't have to fight this earth elemental. But I want to show off, you know, the trap tiles, and yeah, I won't be cutting the battles of trap tiles that I run into. But if you were watching my previous two videos, you would have seen that when I was going through all the old dungeons to collect the Mystic Key doors. So to the right is the way to go down further into the Earth Cave. We're going to head down here because there's 2 rooms with treasure. To the left is a special hallway that Nintendo Power Strategy Guides recommends that you go do some level grinding in. It's called the Hall of Giants. And it's a hall where basically every step that you go into is a trap tile that includes a giant enemy in it. So you can either run into giants, and sometimes the giants are mixed in with iguanas, which are those lizard monsters that we ran into back in Provoca. But giants give a pretty decent amount of experience and gold. You can run into giants around Crescent Lake too. So they're also a monster in the Prince of Power, but back then when you're low level, you didn't want to be fighting them. You don't want to be fighting the trolls and the zombies because you take them out really easily. So yeah, look at that critical hit on Boat, took him down to double-digit hit points. So you're gonna have to use a bunch of those heal potions. So that's another good reason to you know, kind of do this in stages. If you use a bunch of your heal potions, you can just head back. Probably the closest place to get heal potions would be Corneria. So that's how we're going to end up doing 3 dives into the Earth Cave. Yeah, the Earth Cave is pretty big, so it's almost it's 1 more floor bigger than the Marsh Cave. So Marsh Cave was 4 floors. And the Earth Cave is 5, so yeah, dungeons get a little bit bigger and a little bit more complicated as they go on, but that's how the game increases its challenge. But for the most part, there's a few smaller dungeons that the game scatters about. But I'll run into another Earth again, so... Earth and Fire elementals look the same, other than colors. And then the water and the air will look the same. They're palette swaps, which means they have the same palette, but they just have a different color associated with them. So Earth is this tan and brown, and fire will be red. Fitting of Fire. You get a free heal potion there. We can avoid that trap tile by just going to the south there. You can get the treasure chest on the right there too, so you can avoid that trap tile altogether. But that is all the treasure on the first floor. So before we head out and make a save and heal up to prepare ourselves for next episode when we go after the vampire, let's show off that Hall of Giants. Get to show off a new enemy, the Giant. snakes here. Asps are the weaker type. We also run into those cobras that were trapped back in the marsh cave on the bottom floor. So these guys would be dragon type, so if the game was properly coded and or the weapons were properly coded, we'd be able to do some extra damage with the dragon sword that Nichols has, but I mean that Chip has. Nichols has the rune sword. But oh well, it's okay. There was a hack that there were quite a few hacks of Final Fantasy 1. Maybe in the future I'll download one and play it. But one of them is supposed to fix all the bugs, the programming oversights that the game made, the initial game here made. So, some of them add new classes, the classes from Final Fantasy 3, but I have so many other games to play that I guess I don't really have time to do a hack. Maybe eventually if I clear out all my games, but speaking of games I gotta clear out, Final Fantasy 3 is one of them, so here's what the giant looks like. So it's just a plain normal giant in the Earth Cave. We'll run into fire giants in the Gogo volcano, and then we'll run into frost giants in another dungeon, the ice cave. But there's no air or water giants, so. And yeah, you see the giants there, they can appear with these iguanas. So, but they're pretty weak enemies, you don't really have to worry too much about them, so. Yeah, we ran into them way back in, around Pavoka, so. But, let's, we should be able to finish them off now and finish off that upper left giant, leaving only that one giant in the lower left there, so. Strategize. See, our heroes are coming up with a good strategy. So, take your time. Yeah, the game isn't, there's no timer in this game, so. The people of Melmond can wait. Bunch of bad hits there on that giant. So, let's finish him off. He's the Jolly Green Giant. Go, but he's not giving us vegetables, but he's giving us a lot of gold so we can buy our own vegetables. But alright, so that'll complete this dive of the Earth Cave. And just my luck, I ended up getting into a random encounter right as I want to save my game. But we use up our house here to heal ourselves up almost entirely, save our game, and prepare to make a trip down into the Earth Cave a little bit deeper to try to find that vampire. Next episode. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.